Yo, it's the Master Connector coming at you, live and direct. This ain't AI, it's that real human connect. Yo, welcome to the Master Connector show, where the real ones pull up and the energy grow. Every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, we live. LinkedIn and YouTube, where the real ones vibe. Started back in 2020, now the movement legit. Hundreds of episodes, and we still never quit. Steve Spiro, the Master Connector on attack. Rob Genovese, the brand builder, got his back. Two introverts, turn masters of connection. 28 years deep, built on trust and direction. No fake networking, no pitch slapping attacks. We build real relationships, and that's all facts. Famous guests, athletes, authors, TEDx flames. Military leaders elevating the game. Pack 30 minutes, but the impact hits strong. Jump in the comments and connect all show long. Be authentic, stay others focused, have grit, build community strong.
Yeah, that's how we are.
Be authentic, stay others focused, have grit, build community strong.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Master Connector Show. I'm your co-host, Rob Genovese. I want to thank you for joining us today live, as we go live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And we hope you're catching it live, because that's the best way you can get to engage with us. You can ask questions of us or our guests, and you always want to be able to do that because, again, there's gaps between your knowledge. You got to get them filled. I heard a long time ago, never leave an event without getting your questions answered. And look, if you can't join us live, we want you to be able to at least not every week. We know you can't join us live, right? Because you're doing your thing. You're leveling up. You're building your authority. You're building your opportunity. But look, if there is maybe once in a while you want to pop in live and you want to be very specific about it, go to masterconnector.show and see the roster of guests we have coming up, because I'm sure there's somebody in that list that you need to show up live for, again, so you can ask a question, get it answered, because sometimes that answer is the thing you need to go to the next level. So listen, we got a great show for you here today. We got a show called Connecting People to Purpose, Money, and Legacy. And I know when I first started out, all I thought about was, hey, connect me to money, right? That's what most people do. I need money, get me money, pay Rob. That's all I ever thought about. And honestly, it didn't really work out too well. It wasn't until I discovered purpose, which is a lot of times it's the fuel, it's the direction, it's what you need to get your butt out of bed in the morning. And then on the tail end of that, the legacy. What are you going to leave behind? What are you going to build so that when you're gone, somebody knew you were here? All right, so we're going to talk about that stuff. It's going to be a great show today. But listen, we're all connectors here. We want you connecting in the comments. We want you to be connecting with each other on LinkedIn, because this is about connecting people, not just about showing up and learning something, but connecting with people. We're all connectors, but there's only one master connector. Let's bring him on, Mr. Steve Spiro. What's up, Steve?
Robbie G. Now listen, you and I back in the day, we heard an audio called "Pay Rob." I think you're
popped right in my head.
Yeah,
Pay Rob.
Pay Rob. That's awesome. That's good stuff. Well, I'm excited to be on here with you, buddy. And it's been a long journey together. I'm excited for the next phase of this journey as we impact lives and make a difference. But appreciate you big time. What's going on, everyone? Steve Spiro, the Master Connector, coming at you live and direct. Sorry for the lag. I'm not sure what's going on here, but tech is great when it works, right? But I want to ask you this, right? If somebody looked back on your life 50 years from now, would they remember you more for what you earned or for the lives you changed? And like Rob, I also similarly, I was the guy that literally thought that I needed to succeed. I to me, my identity was based on how much success I could have. And, because I was bullied and learning disabled and picked on and all that stuff, I had this chip on my shoulder, wanting to prove everyone was wrong and succeed. And so I was driven. And, for a long time, that's how I operated. I mean, Rob knew me early on when I was in that sort of phase of my life, but then I got around some amazing people. I got a mentor in my life, and I saw the impact that person had on me and others have had on me. And I said, you know what? It's time to pay it forward. It's time to really make an impact and make a difference. And now today, my vision has changed in a sense. My vision is now to be paid to travel the world, speak and inspire and be a beacon of light. And all that is about making an impact. It's not about earning money. Now, the money will come. I know it does, and it has come, and it's going to continue to come. Fine. But it's not about that. It's about a purpose. It's about impact. And to me, that's what drives me. And it's cool. I just got one of those emails that you want to get right from somebody who's planning events. Is Steve, hey, we saw what you're doing on LinkedIn, and we want to have you as a speaker. So that's exciting. I'm excited to see how it could serve and be an impact for that community as well. But very, very pumped, excited about this episode. So if you're ready for my man, Mr. Robbie G, to introduce our guest, I want you to type in the comments. Let's go. And Robbie G, pass it to you, buddy.
All right, let's go, everyone. Drew Berman is a financial strategist and educator dedicated to helping individuals and families build lasting financial confidence and create meaningful legacies. His passion is helping people to win the money game by developing proven retirement strategies, understanding how money grows, and making informed decisions that protect their financial future. Through practical education and straightforward guidance, Drew empowers people to align their finances with their purpose so that they can enjoy greater freedom today while leaving a lasting impact for future generations. Please welcome to the show, Drew Berman. What's up, Drew?
What is up? Thank you. Thank you. Out of all the introductions I've ever gotten, that one was by far the most recent.
That's
Appreciate
awesome.
it.
Good stuff. Well, we're excited to have you on here, and it's been a long time coming. And guys, make sure that you're in the comments, and we want to hear your questions. Anything you have for us, put them in the comments. You're going to see some interactivity today, so just excited. So we believe in LinkedIn participants, not LinkedIn lurkers. So get in there and let's comment. Let's make sure we're actively doing stuff in here. But Drew, let's dig into it right now. We talked about it. I know. And by the way, my friend Andrew Akers being on here. Yeah, love that. I got a chance to see Andy in person last night with his lovely wife, Jennifer. So good to have you on the show with us, Andy. But yeah, we were talking about purpose. We're talking about, your vision, right? So type in hashtag purpose. So here's the first question I'm going to start with, Drew, for sure. How do you help someone discover the deeper purpose behind their financial goals? What's your secret for that?
That's a great, powerful question, and we can talk on that for a whole weekend or 90 minutes straight. But the point is, we don't want a big pile of money. We want what money can give us. They say money can't buy. There's a sign down the street here. It says money can't buy happiness, but it can buy local, right? Supporting the local businesses.
That's right.
So what I work with my clients and my teammates is aligning heart, head, and wallet. Like, are your thoughts around building something or protecting something? Money is, I deal with people from 20 to 80 and everywhere in between. And some people want to grow their money. Some people want to protect their money. Some people want to travel. But the ones who are getting the most value are people who have a purpose for their money. Maybe they want to buy a kitchen. I mean, that's kind of one of the things that's on my vision board right now. We're looking at getting a kitchen and a bathroom. So that's where I have put, my current purpose. Some people want to donate to charity. I have people that are traveling all over the country and all over the world, raising money, donating money, helping charities and helping people with children and water and growth. Then there's people who want to grow their kids. Their purpose is to give or provide the best education. So I think if you can align head and heart and wallet, you are most successful, you are most happy, and that allows you to be in pursuit of serving something higher and bigger than you.
Love it. That's great.
When you talk about purpose, Drew, you reminded me of my story a little bit. And, we went through some really tough times. We were on government assistance, lights getting turned off, literally couldn't afford food. The local church was putting boxes of food on our doorstep for Thanksgiving, like that kind of broke. But we weren't broke mentally. And we did have this, you talked about your vision board. We had pictures on our refrigerator. We had pictures of Italy and Hawaii and all these places. And we're not travel people. It was like so far out there, like I can't even keep the lights on. There's no way I'm going to Italy, right? But we did have a picture of a house. And we have 4 kids. My kids were little. And we'd always tell them, someday we're going to have a big house because we live in a little cracker box. And we told them that forever, right? And it wasn't until 2024, right? Not even 2 years ago, we completed that dream house, the one that was on our refrigerator for over 15 years, actually the exact one we built, and that became like a driving force. So everything my wife and I did went into, we got to get the house, we got to get the house, got to get the house, because we were renting for decades and it wasn't working out. So that purpose was so strong. And I just want to say, that is a material thing, but it was home for us. It was family. And then on the other side, that purpose just being what drives me every day. Now, you have that, you got to have something else to go for, right? So now what?
Very good. Very wise. Congrats on manifesting and pursuing and finally getting it done. That's great. Congrats. That's a great story.
Yeah. Yeah. I got to say, money doesn't make you happy, like you said, but it sure helps. It helps with a lot of areas, right? It's, money is not important, but it is important because you got to.
What did somebody say to us years ago? Somebody said, money doesn't buy you happiness, but put 10 of your problems up on a list and it'll probably whack out 8 to 9 of them.
Right. Yeah, no doubt about it. So it's super important, obviously, to if you can, get the money piece out of the way so that you could focus on really the things that you really want to focus in on. So certainly not minimizing this, but I want to get your perspective. So community, type in #money. And I want to ask you this, Drew. What is the biggest mistake people make when trying to build long-term wealth?
#money. First of all, I love that. So I'd say the biggest mistake, and my book just came out. It's called Go All In. It's a blueprint for wealth, legacy, and financial freedom. And we talk about mistakes that people make. And, in reading just different books, my own and other books on money and wealth, around misconceptions of money and what's done right and what's done wrong. I think the poor, the middle class, and the rich all think differently around money. I think the poor pay bills. I think the middle class buy stuff, and I think the wealthy build assets. And I think we were out to coffee the other day and we were talking about mistakes that young people make in buying their house. I think if I were talking to my younger self, I would rent and then I would buy a 2-family house to rent out. So I think I would buy a home as an asset, rent it for cash flow, and then rent where I live. So I would say, to answer your question directly, the biggest mistake people make when trying to build long-term wealth is I think they buy the wrong house. They buy the place where they live versus buying an investment property.
Love that. By the way, if you're not seeing it, community, and you're watching with us here, there is an opportunity for a poll here. So go in there, and it's what is the first thing you do when you get paid? So I would love to get your perspective on that, and we'll share some results. Thanks, Rob, for putting that up. But let money work for you, right? Versus you work for money. Absolutely. And I love one of my favorite authors is Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he talks about a lot of people buy a house thinking it's a asset, but it's not truly an asset unless it's earning money. So that's truly an asset. Otherwise, it's a liability. So good thing to think about. So is your money, what you have, is it earning you money is a big thing. So, so Drew, I know there's a lot of buzz today on, retirement and, your future. And of course, everyone is saving 401k for their future. And so it's a big thing. And of course, you hear some of these folks, like my mentor was financially independent many years ago. And so essentially retired early. So I want to talk about retirement. So community, type in #retirement. So here's the question. What does retiring successfully really look like beyond simply having enough money?
Well, you said #retirement. So I love that. And I think one of my mentors, it might have been Kiyosaki, might have been T. Harv Eker. He said, I didn't retire rich. I retired young so that I can get rich. So, retirement right now, you mentioned 401k. That's one of the biggest battles I face in my profession. I'm a licensed financial professional. I'm licensed in, I think, maybe 18 states at this point. And oftentimes people have a 401k, and the purpose was to grow your money in a 401k during your accumulation stage. But now, as the baby boomers are representing the largest transfer of wealth in human history, more people, 10,000 people a day are turning 65 till 2030. And people are retiring now more than ever. So now that you've had a 401k, which was built in the 80s, it's a little antiquated. And oftentimes we are doing something called rollovers, and we're rolling over old 401ks that are no longer serving the purpose that they were built for during the accumulation phase. And now that a lot of people going into retirement are in the distribution phase. So I'd say the number one key to retiring successfully, it's not about the amount of money that you have, it's amount of money that cash flow can create. So as a licensed financial professional, what we do is a complimentary financial house. They call me the financial house architect, where I would come and review someone's financial house from protection to retirement to debt to everywhere in between, and structure a retirement, whether they're 30 or 60, because the three questions I answer most of the time are, will I ever be able to retire? Will I outlive my money? And how do I pay less taxes? So if you haven't sat down with a professional, we would do that with you or for your listeners and give you a free plan so that you can walk away with a personalized retirement plan. And I'd say retiring successfully, Steve, means having a plan, sticking to the plan, and contributing more than taking out. And there's some myths from old 401ks that your financial planners of yesteryear taught that you can take 4% out. There's strategies where you can take 7 to 8% out for life. So we want to make sure that people have enough cash flow to retire.
Love it. Yeah. So I got to point this out. So Yolanda says this, by the way, welcome Yolanda. She's an amazing part of our community. Money can't buy happiness, but being broke doesn't buy anything. Well said, Yolanda.
That's very true.
Andy contributed here. Some mistake money comes from the fact that emotions, and there's a ton of emotions when it comes to money, cloud one's judgment. Yep, I agree with that. Yeah. Money. There's a lot of things that can happen around money, good or bad. So agree with that. But so it's interesting. So Drew, I've heard this a lot, and I feel like I know it, but I'd like for hear your perspective on it. It's called the Rule of 72. And so community, type in hashtag Rule 72. But I'd love to get your perspective. So can you explain the Rule of 72 in a way that everyone can understand and immediately apply, if you don't mind?
Yeah, the Rule of 72 will help you win the money game. And it's been around for literally centuries. The one that made it famous is actually Albert Einstein. And it's very simply, and it works in the good direction of interest that you're getting. It works bad direction of debt interest that you're paying. So the Rule of 72 is basically, if you take 72 and divide it by the amount of interest that you're making, that's how long it'll take you to double your money. So you want to be careful where 10% versus 9% is a lot of money over time. And the opposite is true too. If you're paying interest on debt, the amount of time it's going to take to double the amount of debt. But let's focus about the positive. So if you are making 1% in the bank base and you want to double your money, then 72 divided by 1 is 72. It's going to take you 72 years to double your money. Now, I don't know about you, Steve, but I'm not getting any younger, so I don't have 72 years to wait to double my money.
That's right.
Now, if you're making 4%, well, now 72 divided by 4 is what? 18. Now it's going to double every 18 years. Well, if you're getting 6%, So now it's 72 divided by 6, and we can help people take different policies, products, services. We're often able to get people a higher interest rate than they're getting on their 401k, just because we can put them into a modern day program that is better for where they are at their age, better for where they are, in retirement. And knowing the rule of 72, you can move money around so that you can have money for short term, money for midterm, money for long-term goals. You could have money for savings, money for emergency, money for education, but it's not all in the same bucket. You want to have money in the bank for short-term goals. It's okay if it's not making a lot of money, but it's got to make a little bit more than at least inflation. And then for your longer-term goals, the rule of 72 is a mathematical way that we can help you have more money for retirement.
And I love that idea of, the different buckets too, because I know when I first started, I'm like, there's one bucket, there's only one stream,
Right.
and you throw it all in the bank, and then you kind of wonder where it went or wonder why it doesn't go as far. So hearing you talk about the short-term, medium-term, long-term goals for those, I know in work with my planner, that's what he set out. I'm like, help me because I'm not a money guy, I'm not a numbers guy, I'm a words guy, I'm a visuals guy. So hearing that simple concept of having those different goals really simplifies it for helping you understand how to make your money work for you, right?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. It's really smart.
Yeah. I want money for nothing and the kicks for free. That's what I want. Some of you younger folks probably don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no idea.
Dire Straits. It's a lyric from Dire Straits. But anyway, well, let's keep this rolling. This is great. To me, again, I become more long-term focused, and a lot of it is not money focused, but I know money has something to do with it. But to me, it's all about legacy. And, for me and my wife, we have not been blessed to have kids. And so a big part of our legacy has been the people that we've impacted and the people we've mentored. And I believe that's another way that we can leave a legacy behind. I wrote a book, I did a TED Talk, things like that. But I want to talk about legacy. So community, type in #legacy. So how do you propose, how do you purpose? I don't know what this means. How do you propose that legacy influence the financial decisions and why we make? I don't know what I wrote here. Talk about legacy if you want, and financial decisions that we make today. Let's leave it like that.
I mean, legacy is a big part of who we are and what we do when we sit with a family. We want to make sure that the home is protected. So that's why when we say I'm a financial house architect or financial house inspector, oftentimes what opens the door is debt. And we have some solutions where people can pay off debt quicker with less interest, but debt is only a piece of the puzzle. So we want to start with protection and make sure that what you have is protected so that you can build your financial future on solid ground. Then we want to talk about debt, make sure we have a proper debt strategy to eliminate debt. Mm-hmm. Then we want to make sure that you have proper cash flow to pay for bills, pay for expenses, and have your reserve fund. But then it all comes down to legacy. What are you leaving your kids? Are you leaving them a pile of debt, or are you leaving them some kind of legacy? There's a book called What Would the Rockefellers Do? And the story goes, the Rockefellers and the Vanderbilts were two very, very wealthy families. And the Vanderbilts lost most of it within 2 generations. Whereas the Roosevelts, the Rockefellers, they have multiple generational wealth. And what they did was they bought life insurance policies for all the kids and grandkids. Then they made the beneficiaries the family trust. Then they allowed the family to borrow from the trust, pay it back if and when they could. Otherwise, the collateral would be the death benefit. That it begins a concept called family bank and infinite banking. And the legacy that we can create for our younger generations is a lot less inexpensive than people think. So as I talk to people from 20 to 60 every day, We talk about what is so, where do they want to go. We answer these 4 questions. How much do I make? How much do I owe? Where does it come from? Where does it go? We help people put, Rob, their money into the proper buckets. And one of the buckets is legacy. We work with the nation's leading estate planning attorney, and we make sure that the generation is protected. We could pass on our wealth and our legacy to the people we love or the charities that we care about. And there's structure and strategy, and we do all this for free. We do a 25-minute financial needs analysis. People walk away with a retirement plan. They can go implement it in the market, or if they choose us to implement it, they don't pay us. The carriers pay us, so we get to work for our clients for free, which is pretty cool.
So a question on that, Drew. And when you talk about what the Rockefellers did, like conceptually, I got 20% of what you said, right? Because this is not my world, right? What did the Vanderbilts do? Let's look on the other side of the coin. What did they do that precipitated the demise of their generational wealth? Like what was it that they did? Because I'm sure most people who leave money to their kids, that money peters out. Like it definitely doesn't turn into generational wealth. So what did the Vanderbilts do wrong?
Yeah, so there's different ways that you can put laws around your money. And the estate planning attorney I work with, he has the least expensive estate plan on the market, $1,000, something like that. He can help your aunt or your neighbor. He also has the most expensive estate plan on the market, where he can help the ultra wealthy and presidents of countries and all that stuff. So the poor and the rich, they all want the same thing. They want their family to be happy. They want to have enough money. They work hard, but the wealthy use strategies that are available. And the Vanderbilts did what you said, Rob. They spent, maybe they invested, but they didn't prepare for multiple generations out. And I think that's important. I think that's really, you talked about hashtag legacy. It's like, what are we doing for ourselves? What are we doing for our kids? What are we doing for their kids? And what do we want our last name to mean in future generations? Because every single person in human history at some point drew the line in the sand, did something that created generational legacy or generational wealth. Maybe just because of this podcast, this interview today, we could be the catalyst of someone picking up the phone, booking an appointment, and creating a legacy for their future. What a gift that would be if someone comes back and meets with us in a year and says, because of that interview, they made some future decisions. And that's what we help people with every single day.
So what I hear you saying is the average person probably thinks, only into their next year. I want to make more money next year. We're talking about thinking outward. So I was thinking, I want to buy a house in so long. I want to have this amount of money in retirement. I want to leave this amount of much money to my kids. But you're saying, think beyond that, your children's children's children. What strategy do you have to make sure that is generational wealth? So what, if I'm right, tell me if I'm right or wrong. It's really a thinking thing. It's thinking that far out to be able to intentionally plan for it. Is that right?
100%. In fact, even Harv Eker, I was just scrolling through my book as we were talking, but he talks about wealth isn't necessarily in money. Wealth is in mindset. And my first lessons in this world were Secrets of the Millionaire Mind from T. Harv Eker, where it all starts in your thinking and in your planning. So what we help people do is plan around all the moving parts about money. And that's why I loved the title of today's show, Purpose, Money, and Legacy, because money can do so much more for you than just, buy things and pay bills. And then there's different ways that you can use different types of policies. Life insurance, back when I was growing up, I thought it was all about death insurance, which it was. You had to die to collect it. Now there's so many strategies and ways that you can use life insurance as a way to create wealth for now and for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. We could go on forever. There's a lot to talk about. I just want to acknowledge Andy saying infinite money is great strategy. And he said, and regarding legacy, there's no notion that with great wealth comes great responsibility and obligation to do good. I like that. Love that. All right. So listen, we're winding the show down. We're actually beyond right at 1:30 already. So I want to give you an opportunity, Drew, to kind of, I know you have an offer for the community. Tell us what you got. And then let's, what's the best way for the community to reach you, if you could, please.
Yeah, appreciate it. Drew Berman, hit me up on social, of course, but my book is called Go All In. And what it is, Steve, it's a blueprint for wealth, legacy, and financial freedom, where we talk about these topics as well as other topics, and we can help an average family become above average. We can help a wealthy family do the right things with their money, and we can help a struggling family get out of their own way. If the audience goes to goallinbook.com, goallinbook.com, we'll send you a free copy of the digital version. We can book an appointment worth $197, where we'll actually sit with you for a half hour, map out a strategy personalized for you and your family, give you a retirement plan that you can use and implement, and go to goallinbook.com and let's hang out there.
And they could find you on LinkedIn. So appreciate you big time. You're the man. Thank you, Drew. Appreciate you blessing our community, and we'll catch up with you in the green room right after. All right.
Thank you. I'll be there. Yep.
Appreciate
Thanks.
You.
Yep.
Talk soon. Bye. All right. Great stuff. All right. Well, wow. Great. Another great episode next week, episode 271 on July 29th. It's being better today than yesterday with John Dolan. So don't miss that. It's going to be a great show. If you're interested in learning more about some of our up and coming episodes, go to masterconnector.show, as well as you can learn how to be a guest on our show. We have a pretty strong waiting list, but you can go on to learn about that. And if you want to be a sponsor of our show, go to masterconnector.show and learn about that as well, like Mr. Russ Hedge is. I want to close with a story. And again, sorry for the glitchiness on the video, but you can listen to me fine. And, when Alfred Nobel read an incorrect obituary that described him as the merchant of death, he realized the world would remember him for inventing dynamite instead of for the impact he hoped to make. That moment inspired him to establish the Nobel Prize, forever changing the legacy attached to his name. Every day gives us another opportunity to decide how will we be remembered. So choose to live with purpose, invest in people, and be a beacon of light to the world. So folks, let's be that light. God bless. We'll see you next week. Thanks again for all your participation. Thanks, Drew.
Yo, welcome to the Master Connector Show, where the real ones pull up and the energy grow. Every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, we love so long.